Kicks it. Oh, he's took it. He's on it. He's on it.
Shavkat Rakhmonov's astonishing rise is leading him to challenge for the UFC welterweight belt. The merciless Nomad is leaving along his path finishes and knockouts for all tastes.
Over that. That was slick.
Oh, nasty. Another one. Oh, another.
It's time to reveal how the Kazakh set the UFC on fire and why he's so feared. Born on October 23, 1994 in Shirchi, Uzbekistan, Shavkat Rakhmonov had humble beginnings growing up in a financially struggling family. To help out his family, he worked as a truck and warehouse loader, but simultaneously trained in combat sports, especially combat sambo. Before joining the UFC, Rakhmonov crushed a string of opponents like a freight train.
It's the experience of being
Nice body shot.
Quickly showcasing his MMA skills, fighting mainly under the M1 banner and his home country's MMA organization, the Kazakhstan Mixed Martial Arts Federation. Shavkat started his professional career in 2014, facing Adam Surov, preferring to fight the Kazakh on the ground. Adam initially risked being decapitated with a guillotine.
It's quite tight in. He tries to switch.
Then lost his arm with an armbar.
Yes, he's got he needs to put the foot over the head.
And finally, fell in the perfect triangle of Shavkat,
Locked in position. There he goes for the sacrifices.
which gave him his first victory.
Great awareness there. Shavkat. He's got him.
On June 4th, 2016, 21-year-old Shavkat faced off against the experienced and dangerous Marcelo Brito. After circling each other and trading punches,
I fight numerous occasions, and
This person's
big right hand!
Oh!
Nice.
it seemed that the bout would be close. But then, Shavkat landed an absolutely savage punch to Brito's body.
It's the experience of being.
It was a gut-crushing blow that sent Marcelo down, and the ref called it a knockout in the very first round.
His liver. That hurt his liver. It's over.
In August 2016, Rakhmonov fought Jung Young Park, a talented South Korean who made his UFC debut a few years later. In the first round, Shavkat managed to throw Park, taking the fight to the ground. In the second round, after a series of precise shots to the head, the Kazakh closes the match with a perfect rear naked choke, with which he risked making the Korean's eyes explode. The year 2018 started for Shavkat with a difficult fight against Faridun Odalov, a dangerous finisher with a streak of 7 consecutive victories. In the first round, the fighters preferred to exchange blows without sparring each other. In the second round, Faridun managed to take down Rakhmonov, who reversed the situation with a Kimura. The fighting continued toe-to-toe, full of jaw-crushing hits. With 1 minute remaining in the second round, a heavy overhand from Faridun found Shavkat's jaw, momentarily disconnecting him from reality. It was probably the hardest moment of his career up to that moment because, in the following minute, he literally had to scramble to survive. But in the third round, the Kazakh had recovered his strength, and after finishing in the mount, he obliterated his opponent with a series of brutal blacksmith strikes. That evening, Shavkat won his first title, becoming the Kazakhstan MMA Federation welterweight champion. His next opponent, Danila Prikasa, was a ruthless striker with an intimidating 12-2-1 record. Everyone knew that this was going to be a major test for Shavkat. After the initial phase of feeling each other out during the first round,
He will loop in like that. He will go hard and heavy.
in the second, Shavkat started to show his colors.
His title. It says something when you beat someone at the run.
And despite a decent defense from Prikasa,
Fight talk. He does well from.
the Kazakh striking was just on another level.
And it's a long.
After less than a minute, the Russian ended up on the ground,
Top of his opponent there.
annihilated by Shavkat's brain-killer shots. Prikasa, tough as nails, didn't tap, but clearly had one eye in the shadow realm. The TKO announced by the referee allowed the Russian to go home on his own 2 feet, and Shavkat won the vacant M1 welterweight championship. In his last fight before moving on to the UFC, Rakhmonov had to face the ambitious Brazilian Thiago Varejo. Shavkat started with precise and powerful headshots.
In size and stature, but Rakhmonov has all the skills. Rakhmonov first to tee up.
Then took down Thiago,
Oh, nice. Well,
beating him for a while on the ground.
that was to the body and then
As the round neared its end, the Kazakh landed a spinning kick to the liver, followed by one to the head. The Brazilian was finished. It was a matter of seconds before the referee stopped the match. Shavkat Rakhmonov's debut in the UFC took place in October 2020. It was the Brazilian Alex Oliveira who welcomed the Kazakh to the most prestigious MMA organization in the world.
Crazy haymaker exchange. Oliveira's got his back.
In the first minutes of the fight, Oliveira hit Shavkat's face with a powerful right hand.
Oh my goodness already.
This rude welcome did not please the Kazakh, who responded with a series of powerful shots.
Oh, and a big knee to the body from Rakhmonov.
That pushed Oliveira against the cage. From the clinch position, Shavkat managed to execute a classic guillotine,
at 9:25 to weigh.
giving a free jiu-jitsu masterclass to the Brazilian. Alex Oliveira tapped quickly, perhaps for fear of missing the Rio Carnival.
Go and start to rehydrate. Oh, guillotine attempt.
Remember the name, Shavkat Rakhmonov.
In his bout against Michael Prazeres, both fighters were in attack mode from the jump.
Illustrator. When the guy's too long, you kick.
Prazeres started with a calf kick,
This is where you fight behind the jab. It's a good jab.
but Shavkat answered with a stinging jab.
That's that jab right there.
Prazeres then took a shot at a takedown,
You throw it halfway, and then you let it fly.
pressing Shavkat against the fence.
He unlocked his hand, so that takedown.
But Rakhmonov flipped the script, landing an impressive takedown.
Oh, nice takedown. Oh, yeah, nice takedown there.
With about 3 minutes left in the first round. From there, Shavkat started dishing out some quality ground and pound,
He's got great ground and pound. Now he's got the distance.
mainly targeting Prazeres' body. In the final moments of the round, Prazeres scrambled and got up, but he was clearly rattled. Round 2 saw both fighters retaking the center. But Shavkat wasn't holding back. He landed a crisp jab and attempted a spinning back kick
That he's not really. Oh!
that seemed to wobble Prazeres. Sensing his opportunity, Rakhmonov fired a step-in knee.
Step in,
In a flash, he took Prazeres down to the mat.
fight to the ground.
That might. Oh, my.
Shavkat unleashed a torrent of ground and pound,
That was slick
Oh,
out there.
Nasty.
another one. And another.
smoothly transitioned to a rear naked choke.
Preserves his. Oh, my.
There's the tap.
The victory was a landmark moment, making Rakhmonov the first man ever to finish Prazeres. All in all, it was an incredibly impressive win for Shavkat Rakhmonov, who kept proving that he's a force to be reckoned with in the MMA world. Shavkat Rakhmonov and Carlston Harris stepped into the octagon for a welterweight showdown at UFC Vegas 47. From the get-go, both fighters were trading shots and keeping their distance. Shavkat's jab was coming out sharp and fast,
Of his emotions.
making an early impression. Harris was swinging too,
Needs to be counted.
but his punches were a bit on the wild side. Just when you thought this could go the distance, Shavkat landed an insane spinning hook kick.
spin.
piling up with a few more punches from above.
Some down. And now trying to end it.
Big ground and pound here.
Harris was out cold. With this victory, Rakhmonov entered the top 15 of the UFC welterweight division with a personal 15-0 record. Shavkat Rakhmonov and Neil Magny gave us a co-main event to remember at UFC on ESPN on June 26, 2022. Magny is a dangerous UFC veteran, the holder of the decision-winning record, and has the reputation of shutting down the UFC's rising stars.
Domination. Magny sensing the moment to finish. Good work. Repeated work by Neil Magny.
The fight started with Rakhmonov snatching Magny's kick
Being the owner of an 80-inch ring, it's
and using it as an excuse to send him tumbling to the canvas.
of course in a solid position on the ground.
Once on top, Rakhmonov controlled the pace, landing a rain of punches.
Been here before, he's got tons of experience.
Rakhmonov postures up.
I mean,
Even as Magny tried to fend him off with up kicks
Here as he tries to survive. 2 minutes in. Forces some space.
and a heel attack.
there we go. I mean,
Rakhmonov didn't waste time. A quick clinch and another takedown.
Pretty good.
And he was back to dominating from the top. Magny tried to wiggle free,
Let's listen into the corner of Neil Magny, Christian Allen and company.
while Rakhmonov was having none of it. Just when everyone thought Magny might last the round, Rakhmonov locked in a guillotine choke.
Short time.
So deep that Magny had no choice but to tap, literally with just 2 seconds left in the round. With this win, Rakhmonov solidified his 16-0 record and became a legitimate contender in the UFC welterweight division. The Kazakh Nomad burst like a hurricane into the UFC top 10 and the heart of Laura Sanko, who could not hide her infatuation for Shavkat.
Shavkat Rakhmonov. That man gives me chills.
The tenor in your voice changed when you said his name.
I've never interviewed him. I've never spoken to him. But I feel
I can
like
see the goosebumps in
I
here.
feel like I would get nervous.
But you want to.
But I want.
Shavkat Rakhmonov. I mean, it's an infatuation. You guys don't
I am
understand.
mostly infatuated with his fighting. He is 16-0 with a perfect split of 8 knockouts and 8 submissions. If that's not sexy, I don't know what is.
really does.
At UFC 285 in March 2023, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Jeff Neal was a pulsating back-and-forth battle. In the first round, the fighters studied each other by exchanging precise strikes and kicks.
Oh, right away with the head kick by Rakhmonov.
Back to the center of the octagon. Good connection.
Rakhmonov attacked constantly,
Oh, big connection for Rakhmonov.
while Neal defended himself mostly with punches.
You might be right. Yes, you are right. I see it.
In the second round, the opponents picked up where they left off. Neal was very dangerous with hand strikes,
Because he's not taking it cleanly.
Oh, good combo by Jeff Neal. Oh, good left hand.
while Rakhmonov tried to create more combinations of kicks and strikes.
Oh, good uppercuts. Oh, I think.
The third round turned out to be the most spectacular. Shavkat started throwing powerful kicks,
Head kicks.
adding a spinning kick. Neal answered with precise blows to the head, capable of detaching the soul from the body. Rakhmonov, at clear difficulty, saved himself with the clinch
Rakhmonov trying to wrestle now.
Yep.
and managed to recover. It was Neal's time, but he was letting it slip. Then the pigeon shooting began.
Yeah, it's certainly been tested.
Throws Neal.
Shavkat starts to deliver accurate one-shot
Yeah, it's
or two-shot combinations from range.
certainly been tested.
Throws Neal.
Neal tried to answer, but his tank was empty. Cornering the increasingly waning Neal in the cage, Shavkat continued his execution with elbow and knee strikes.
Uppercut. Turns fire. Elbows up top.
1 minute from the end, the exhausted Neal was praying for the sound of the gong. Instead, he only felt his neck crushing in a death grip.
He's choking. He's on it. He's on it.
Shavkat was throwing a standing rear naked choke.
Look at that. Watch how he puts the left leg inside.
Neil tapped out without hesitation. It was the 17th consecutive victory in a row for Shavkat Rakhmonov and his 5th scalp in the UFC. Sniper punches.
Yeah, it's certainly that.
Breathtaking spinning kicks.
Spin kick.
And steel stamina. It's what the Kazakh Nomad brought with him to set the UFC on fire. If you're as hyped as we are to see where Shavkat the Nomad Rakhmonov's career is heading, smash that subscribe button, kick the like button, and guillotine the notification bell.